Welcome to Rock Your Block. I am your host, Tia Young. The purpose of our show today is to introduce the Service Corps of Retired Executives, or better known as SCORE. This organization of retired professional business volunteers works as a viable and strategic resource partner with the Small Business Administration, affectionately known as SBA. A central purpose of SCORE and the SBA is to help startup businesses and businesses who are already in operation to be successful and to break that cycle of small business failures. Our subject matter resource today is Mr. Walter Abbott, SCORE DC Outreach Coordinator. Hello, Walter. How are you?
Good. How are you doing, Tia?
I'm fine. Thank you so much for taking time from your schedule to come and share with us today.
Oh, I'm delighted to be here. I really appreciate the offer.
Good. Well, we're going to get started. I must have 1,000 questions for you today, so we're going to get started. Walter, tell us a little bit, before you tell us a little bit about SCORE, tell us a little bit about Walter.
Well, I worked for 40 years in the insurance industry, primarily handling casualty and property business insurance. So I spent an awful lot of time here in the Washington metro area, but I also spent 3 years up in Atlantic City talking a little bit about what we mentioned a little bit before. As my career was winding down, I recognized that in order to stay busy and active, I wanted to have some volunteer opportunities. And at a vacation, I ran into a gentleman from Pittsburgh who mentioned about SCORE. And not having heard of it, I asked, what does it do, what does it mean, and what have you. He gave me the information, and since I'm here in the Washington metro area, I immediately contacted our SCORE office here and set up a meeting to begin the process of becoming a mentor.
Wow, and so it's been a good story ever since.
It's been wonderful. It's almost 10 years. It'll be 10 years the end of December.
How many small businesses have you mentored?
I've probably mentored at least 75 or 80 small businesses during the time that I've been involved, but about 4 years ago, my actual activities changed, and I became the outreach coordinator, which means that I participate in a lot of things similar to this. Meetings where I'm explaining what SCORE is, as well as talking about or helping small and startup businesses.
Okay, and that goes right into my next question. Can you tell me what is SCORE? And I also know that I've heard the term SCORE DC. Is there a difference? If there is, if you can differentiate between
Well, there's a big difference in that SCORE National is the way we term it, is the overarching operation that provides assistance to all the various SCORE chapters throughout the country. They are located here in Herndon, Virginia, so they're convenient to me, and I participate in a lot of activities that they're involved in. But their primary role is to provide support to each of the various chapters, of which the SCORE DC chapter is one.
Oh, okay, all right. So they just kind of work together, hand in hand
Very
together.
much so, yeah.
Okay, and then who does SCORE help? Because I'm thinking back years ago, I was working with some small business people, and they did not think that SCORE was for them because they were just getting started out. And they thought that SCORE only helped those people who had been in business for a couple of years or more. So.
Well, one of the things that SCORE does, and of course, unfortunately, it's an all-volunteer organization with a very, very small budget. And as a result, we have nothing in the way of funds for marketing or other media activities, with the exceptions of situations like this. So very few people, other than people who have done work with or been involved with the SBA, are familiar with SCORE. We started 50 years ago. We celebrated our 50th anniversary last year. We have over 300 chapters throughout the country.
Wow.
And we have in excess of 11,000 volunteers. So it's a very, very large organization that provides assistance not just to existing small businesses, but to people who just have an idea. They may come into us and say, I'm very interested in starting a small business, but I really don't know what is involved and what needs to be done. And so I'd really like to spend a little bit of time with a mentor, one-on-one, to get some information.
Well, now you mentioned the 11,000 volunteers. Are these professional volunteers, or is it a combination of, do you have administrative, like people that come in and help with answering the phones and doing administrative work? Is that also a part of the volunteer?
Each of our chapters has one administrative person who is actually paid.
Oh, okay.
And that person in our office is Laverne Webb, and she is our go-to person for answering the phones, for handling a ton of emails, an awful lot of other administrative responsibilities. And she is the only paid person that we have within the SCORE DC chapter. This same situation exists in all the other chapters throughout the country. Typically, we would have one administrative person who would be paid, and then the rest of us are all volunteers.
Right. And I want to say I did have the opportunity to meet Laverne several months ago. And so I'm going to say, hi, Laverne.
Yeah, hope
she
you're
was
hearing.
Great. Yeah, she was great. Now, okay, this brings me to the next question. You give out a lot of very valuable resource information. And I'm going to hold my breath while I'm saying this. How much money are you charging the small businesses that come in for your services?
Well, for
what's that number?
let me you know, I give you permission to exhale, all right?
Okay.
We don't charge anything. We are a fully free operation. We provide one-on-one mentoring to startups. Most of them will set an appointment up with a mentor through one of our various offices, but on occasion, people will just walk in off the street, and when we have someone available, they'll sit down with them and they'll talk about their business idea or some concept of what they're looking to possibly start. So our mentoring is free and it's unlimited. So I have a number of clients that I've had for 7 or 8 years that I've been involved in. Now, granted, when I first started with some of these long-term clients, I had much different questions than I do today. In some cases, they've matured to such a level that they only require some assistance on rare occasions, but I still stay in touch with them and I still provide mentor activities free for as long as they need it.
Right. Well, Walter, earlier you said that the SCORE office doesn't get that much money coming in, and so how are you able to manage and do what you do if you don't charge a fee, a service fee?
Well, it comes down to the fact that we're all volunteers. Each of us, and most of us are retired, although there are some who are still working. We have some people that are mentors, and then there's some that are what we call subject matter experts. For instance, if we have someone who is working full-time, but they have a particular expertise in social media, as an example, and they're interested in volunteering, we would use them as a subject matter expert when we have a question from a client in reference to social media that we may or may not have an answer for.
Okay, all right, I got it. How does SCORE actually help startup businesses and existing businesses? Is there a big difference in what you do for the startups and then for the ones, say they've been in business for 3 or 4 years?
There is some difference, Tia, but the main thing is that we just listen. Our main role is to find out what their problem is, and in each instance it will differ. Some people are experts at finance or accounting, as well as the passion that they've brought to the to the business. Some others who are in existence will have more specific questions, like how should I bring in, or what should I be considering when I'm looking to hire someone? Whereas with most of our startups, it's an individual, or maybe an individual and some family members. So each one of them has some different obligations and some different questions, But our main role is to just listen to what their issues are, find out what their business is, and then offer recommendations and suggestions in order to provide them with the answers that they're looking for.
Okay. And you mentioned that you do one-on-one counseling with business members as they come in, and you also do workshops. I happened to be at a workshop that you did last week with Cynthia Karnek of Gov Partners, and actually with Microsoft as well.
Exactly.
And
yeah.
it was great. It was fantastic. Do you do have other types of outreaches or resourcing?
We do. The DC chapter, and each chapter has their own schedule of workshops based on the needs that they have. For instance, if we were out in the Midwest, we would have much more in the way of information about agriculture and about that kind of business, whereas here in the DC area, we're much more focused on the particular obligations and job opportunities or the business opportunities that are here. So what we do is provide workshops focused on those particular areas. For instance, how to get on a GSA schedule, how to become an 8A contractor, what needs are there as far as social media is concerned, how to market your business. Now we charge for those, and we charge a nominal fee, $50 for an all-day session and $30 for a half-day session. Typically these are presented by experts that would, if they were actually charging, would probably charge in the neighborhood of $1,000 a day or something like that. So it's a small fee, but there is a charge for it.
Wow. Okay. Well, Walter, it's time for a short station break. We will be right back after these important announcements. So don't touch that dial.
Join our mission to proclaim the gospel of Jesus Christ. Every week, we feature a medley of gifts from artists, performers, ministers, and more. Experience the Lord's everlasting light in the cool of the day.
Thank you for tuning in to Rock Your Block. Our special guest with us today is Walter Abbott, SCORE DC Outreach Coordinator. Walter, prior to the break, we talked a little bit early on into the show about the resource document, the bulletin that you put out. Can you talk a little bit more about that?
Well, what we do is have a workshop bulletin that is a paper form listing all the various workshops that we have. And that I typically take with me whenever I go to any of my outreach activities. It lists the various workshops that we have, but one of the easiest and probably the most efficient way to actually look up our workshops is to go to our website, which is www.washingtondc.score.org.
Perfect.
There you go. Yep.
I was looking for my copy and I see it here.
There it is. That's right.
Well, this is really a robust, pretty robust flyer, brochure. Actually, that's what it is, brochure. It's pretty robust. I mean, you've got everything in here. You're talking about general workshop programs and how people can register and about your partner, SBA. Just how closely do you work with SBA?
We work very closely with them. In fact, SBA provides 50% of our expense, primarily covering our administrative assistant. In our DC office, we are actually physically located in the SBA building. And they provide us with free office space, electricity, light, and we then pay for office supplies, paper, things of that nature. So, but our satellite offices, which are all around the greater DC metro area, are held typically in libraries or economic development authorities and things of that nature. So they have, they're using space that is also donated and to keep our expenses down.
Oh, that's good. So you actually don't have to pay for the space. Oh,
not in
that's
the
a big
satellite
help.
offices.
That's
no.
a big help, especially in this Washington, D.C. area.
Yeah, with office rents as high as they are, it's a huge benefit for us.
Right. Now, how many local businesses in the Washington metropolitan area has SCORE helped or mentored?
Well, I don't have the number since we started, which was about 30 years ago, but we typically meet with in excess of 3,000 individuals each year. So we have a large number of people that are looking to start a business. There are a goodly number of people that already are in business. And we have follow-up meetings on a regular basis, which is something that we really recommend, because it's once we are able to help in a particular area, we can provide assistance in other areas as they come up. So we always are looking for follow-up meetings and follow-up sessions for our mentoring operations. In the DC area, last year, 2014, we we helped 1,400 companies start a new business.
Wow.
And obviously, those 1,400 companies provided at least one job for the owner or the person that was actually starting it. But also, there were 700 and some additional jobs that were created as a result of the activities that we do. Now, granted, we don't start the businesses,
Right.
but we certainly help the people that are interested in getting them going.
Getting them going.
Absolutely, yeah.
Now, I know that SCORE is national, maybe it's even international, but I know of the national part. So if I am in, say, Tennessee, am I getting the same service in Tennessee as I would get here in DC, or is it state specific, and you might get one thing in one part of the country and something else?
The actual product or the actual advice that we deliver is the same.
Okay.
It's going to be based upon the individual mentor. In Tennessee, you're going to get an accent. So,
Oh, yes.
Around here, you're not going to get that.
Yes, you sure are.
Yeah. But especially if you're in Nashville. But we have mentors in every major city throughout the country, and because each one of us has our own individual background, our own individual style, we provide assistance for the particular questions that come up. Occasionally, we'll run into a situation where we have a question that we, say in the DC metro area, do not have an answer for.
Right.
We then can call on and have access to all 11,000 of our mentors and a list of all the expertise that they have, and so we can call upon them to provide additional assistance in the event that there is something very unusual as a result of one of our clients' small business ideas.
Right, right. Well, Walter, last night about 9:57 p.m., I was on my email, and I get this email from Administrator Maria Contreras Sweet. I hope I'm pronouncing that right.
You are, yes.
And I looked at it, and it's headed, Boots to Business Entrepreneur Program trains 25,000 transitioning service members. I have a heart for veterans. I do. My
So
dad
do I.
was in the military, and I just have a heart for veterans. And when I read it, I was like, what? They did what? Can you please tell me what this is all about?
Well, the SBA created a program called Boots to Business, and the program was part of the transition assistance program that the military has for everyone who is getting out of the military. Whether you're retiring as a result of your many, many years of service, or whether you've been in for a couple of years and are getting out. They provide a very extensive transition assistance program, and part of that is the Boots to Business program that we at SCORE and the other resource partners within SBA provide. Our Boots to Business is at the Fort Myer Henderson base here in Arlington, and every quarter we have 20 to 30 military service members ranging in age from relatively young to people who are retiring that are interested in starting a business. And so the Boots to Business program is a 2-day session that goes through all of the various key components that are necessary in order to start a business. It's an excellent resource. It was created in conjunction with Syracuse University, and it really does provide a foundation for the service members as they're leaving and going out into the private sector.
So 25,000 of them have already gone through this.
That's correct.
And it's easy for any service person to, well, I'm reading here where it says, the training program provides military service members and their spouses the opportunity. So how does that parlay into with the spouses? They can get the same access?
As part of the transition, the military spouse is also involved and included because it is a family unit, and the spouses in many instances have had as hard a time or maybe even a harder time than the military person themselves.
That's true.
And so what we provide is assistance in the event that, let's say, a spouse is interested in starting a business. It may be as simple as a home-based business that they would be interested in, but definitely there is, it's a very simple, easy program that works together with the military.
Okay, so you got the 2-day program there. And if a person comes out and says, I really want to do this, but I need more help, is that their form? So you just sit down with them and take them through the same thing that you would take anyone else through?
Absolutely. In fact, what we recommend is that they contact a SCORE mentor. Many of them are dispersing from here in Arlington. They're dispersing all over the country. And so what we suggest is that they go to our national website, which is score.org, put in their zip code, and they'll find a list of the local offices of SCORE right within the zip code that they're in. Yeah.
And I see here in the press release that they're saying if someone is interested, they can also go to www.sba.gov/boots to business.
Correct.
On that end, so that's good.
That's exactly right, and they can find out when the next one is coming up.
Okay, good. Now my next question, what impact do small businesses have on our communities and on our local economy?
Well,
in your opinion?
It's a huge impact, Tia. I mean, you're a perfect example. You're a small business.
Yeah, I am.
And you're creating content for this channel. You're also mentoring a number of people in the communications areas. So it's a tremendous asset to have small businesses. Number one, they are the engine for more and more employment hires and additional jobs. They provide the activities that most individuals are looking for. And for instance, they may have a small restaurant that they're running, and they're looking for assistance, but they're providing a service to the community. So many of the people here in the metropolitan area are actually consultant types.
Right, that's true.
And so they're doing a lot of their work via the internet, but they're still providing this tremendous service and utilizing social media and other internet services. It's very, very efficient for them, and it's a tremendous benefit to all of the communities in the area. It's really critical for the strength and growth of the various counties.
Right. Now, let's say I'm a small business. I've been in business for maybe 3 or 4 years, and things have been okay, but now I'm in trouble. I come to the SCORE office. What can SCORE do for someone who is moving into a critical point?
Again, the first thing that we're going to do is to ask, where is the problem? What are the issues that you're running into? And we'll also go through various steps to look at what your actual financial situation is, what is your employment situation, how are you marketing, all the various things that are critical to making your business a success, we're going to analyze. We're going to kind of do like Columbo used to do on the old
Columbo.
Columbo's, you know,
That was one of my
take out our notebook and write down these little things and say, okay, here's what we want you to help, here's what we think you can do to get going. Yes. And we do some team mentoring as well, because you may have a marketing issue and a financial issue. And we have some people that are experts in both. There are some that are experts in one and not the other. And so we really do work as a team. But the key thing is, again, finding out, investigating, doing the digging to determine exactly what it is that that is creating your problem.
And pick up that phone and call, right?
Amen. Yes.
Walter, I want to thank you so much. It's just been such a pleasure. You shared. It's just time has gone by just too quickly. So we're definitely going to have to figure out how we can get you back.
Oh, I would be delighted. Thank you so much, Tia. I really appreciate
welcome.
it.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are hoping to bring Walter back into the studio on a consistent basis. Going to have to twist his arm a little bit. So please continue to watch our programming every week. You don't want to miss Walter or any of the great segments we have planned for you. Thank you for watching Rock Your Block. We will see you next week. Bye-bye.